Be handy if I added myself into the stream. Welcome back to West Ham Network, which was just witnessed West Ham get beat, from Brentford 2-1 at home. I'm gutted. It's a feeling that we don't feel a lot over the last couple of years. We don't get beat so often as we used to, and I'm devastated. I'm actually devastated. I'm absolutely devastated from that game and that result. And yeah, I'm taking losses really, really hard these days. It's something we're not used to, and it's really, really, really tough. But hey ho, we've got to pick our heads up and try our best to get over it as much as we possibly can. It's a tough one to swallow. Welcome back to the network. Please subscribe, like, comment if you are watching. But this is our match day highlights show, and we'll talk you through the game itself. And give our brief thoughts on the performance of the players and what we thought. But all credit where credit's due. You've got to give credit to Brentford for what they've done today, because they've turned up, they've done the job, and they've got the victory. I don't think it was a deserved 3 points. I think, if anything, the game maybe deserved to be a draw. Probably a game of two halves, to be brutally honest. But we just dropped our heads, and defensively we had a couple of errors there, and you can tell that Moyes is going to go ballistic with regards to our defensive issues, because we've got defensive issues. There's no ifs or buts about it. We can't seem to build upon the problems we've got in our defence, and I'm not. This is not an absolute slagging match. It's nothing like that. It's just that I think that David Moyes has stated all along that we need to fix our defence. We leak goals. We absolutely do leak goals, and we've leaked, I would say, 2 really disappointing goals today. Really, really disappointing goals that could have been resolved and stopped, and just a couple of errors that weren't great. But that's the nature of football, of course. Let me jump into the comments, see who's in, and then I'll get you all to please put your comments in, and I will go through as many as I can as possible. Reese Cook saying, I'm so embarrassed, and we did deserve to lose. I mean, Reese, I don't know, mate, because the first half was all Brentford and they had chances, but the second half was probably more West Ham, and we had a lot of chances. It was good for a neutral to watch. It was a good game of football. West Ham involved in good games of football these days, but it was probably what Long Dark Tunnel's saying here now. It was pretty sloppy. Gary J saying we deserved a point. Peach, you're in the house. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for joining us. Crosshammer, hi all. What a bad ref today. Onwards and upwards. Yeah, I wasn't impressed, especially with the free kick decision at the end. Long Dark Tunnel saying we had plenty of chances to win. Antonio, I'm here, mate. I am here. For real, 1-2. Bernie is saying I had a feeling this was going to happen, as it's been coming for a few games as we've been leaking goals. Trev Tube is saying a loss for the last kick is always horrible. No doubt there's some fatigue, but we raised our game in the second half. Positionally, central defenders made mistakes today. They did. They made them really, really like quite a lot, to be honest. So like I said, please keep your comments coming in. We will try our best to go through as many of them as we possibly can, and we'll get cracking and get involved in the game. So let's get into it. We had the starting lineups that were announced. West Ham made no changes. Changes, obviously, from the Vienna game. And, we had Tommy on the Matchday Live, who was saying that maybe West Ham, he just had a feeling about this game today, and he had a feeling that maybe we would feel a little bit of the hangover coming in from the Europa League game, and maybe the first half kind of emulated that. But we started with Fabianski in goal. Loads of people right now in the chat and probably in the Matchday Live were calling for Areola, especially now, Areola to start. Sufal made the game. Zuma Ogbonna leading the line at the back, who didn't have the best games today. Creswell, Rice and Suchek in the middle of the park. Fornals, Benrahma, Bowen and Antonio. We then move into the Brentford side, which was Rea in goal, who did make some very good saves for Brentford today. Zanka, Janssen, captain, Pinnock, Canos, Baptiste, who ended up coming off injured in the first half, Norgard, Janelt, Rico Henry, and Buemo, and Toney. And that was the two lineups. So, from the start, I was confident with the West Ham side. We can't deny it, though. Vienna, we won the game, but it wasn't the most convincing of performances. Leeds, we won the game, but it wasn't the most convincing of performances. And today had that vibe about it. Today, and Brentford obviously walked away with the 3 points. But literally in the first couple of minutes, I think Brentford had full-blown control of the game. They were attacking West Ham. We couldn't get hold of the ball and couldn't control the ball, but they were driving forward at our defence, left, right and centre, and very quickly they had a couple of attempts, of which one hit the bar. I think it was in Buemo from about 18 yards out, smashed the ball, tried to curl it into the top corner and hit the top of the bar. No defender was getting close to them at any occasion. And I really found it really interesting to watch Ivan Toney throughout the whole game, let alone at the start. He was very rarely through centrally, through in the middle. He was working out on the flanks loads and supporting defensively, and he had a fantastic game for Brentford today. In actual fact, what I saw from Ivan Toney was probably a David Moyes type player. I was actually quite surprised by him. A lot of people have kind of said that he just scores a lot of penalties, but I think he adds more to the Brentford side than a lot of people say. I was really impressed with Ivan Toney today, but they had, within 4 or 5 minutes, they had so many chances coming into the game. They could have been 2-0 up. Henry floated down the left and delivers a great ball in. And it comes to Mbeumo again with a header from 12 yards out, but he plants it wide on the post, which, again, West Ham are backs against the wall and are taking, soaking up all this attack. And we couldn't get a hold of the ball and couldn't get control of the game. Bang, again, a couple of minutes later, there's another counter attack because Brentford are pressing so high at London Stadium that it's making West Ham have to, really think every single time. And we were trying to play the balls out from the back and we couldn't because Brentford were putting bodies on top of us. And it was absolutely mental. And literally 10 minutes in, another chance for Brentford. We were hanging on for dear life at this point. Toney had room from 12 yards out to strike at Fabianski. And to be fair, Fabianski did save the ball in the 10th minute, but back we're 10 minutes into the game. I think Brentford had 3 or 4 chances against West Ham, and it was starting to kind of backs up against the wall. We were worrying, we were panicking, like, okay, we just need to calm this down as much as we can. But very quickly, you could see the high press that Brentford were playing, and you were just desperately crying out for West Ham to get control of the ball, get Declan Rice to hold the ball, calm it down. Moyes was telling the players, calm down from the edges, just play soft balls, take your time, slowly move forward, don't have to panic. But there was a lot of hoof balls up top to Antonio, especially in the first 10 minutes, that weren't working well. And again, 13 minutes in, Brentford going the attack again. Henry down the left. They were attacking heavily down. So Rico Henry obviously plays the left back position. When he goes forward, he faces Soufal. They targeting Soufal, and I don't know. I'm not digging him out, but I just think he genuinely needs a rest. Soufal, since the Man United game in the Premier League, that's what Man United did. They targeted his side. And then obviously he's just not been at the races really since. And today, I don't think Soufal was at the races today, and they saw the opportunity. And Rico Henry kind of started to run rings around him, but they went down that side and caused us problems all throughout the game. But then we started to try and fight back a little bit, and those big balls over the top of the defenders were starting to find Antonio. Antonio was beating the defenders first to the ball, and we were starting to get to the ball. We were trying to, we never really troubled Raya in the first 10, 15 minutes, but we were trying to press them and push back into the game. But in the first 20 minutes, it was all Brentford. And of course, on the 20th minute, I don't know what happened here. I think it was Canos from Brentford collects the ball in the middle of the park and he plays a fantastic ball through to, I can't remember who the player was for Brentford, who shoots. But the thing is, the player that gets put through, I think it was Canos that got put through, he beats Zuma very easily to the ball, and Zuma's now tracking back and trying to get on the player. Then you've got Ogbonna on the left-hand side, man marking Mbeumo, and you can see him back off, and Mbeumo keeps going. And you're thinking to yourself, what are our two central defenders doing here? Zuma's been beaten. He's trying to get back, but he's been beaten easily. And Ogbonna doesn't chase Mbeumo. And just at the last minute, after Fabianski saves the ball, and people are going to call out Fabianski for this, he parries the ball out and it comes straight to Mbeumo. But if Ogbonna hadn't even remotely hesitated, Ogbonna would have been first to that ball there. But it found itself to Mbeumo, who hit the shot. Fabianski saves it on the line, and the ball does cross over by literally 1 millimetre. And Brentford go 1-0 up. And listen, we can't fault it. They deserved the 1-0. They deserved the 1-0 lead. They absolutely did deserve the 1-0 lead. And it was good. It was good football, but really disappointing from a West Ham defensive point of view. I think Moyes will be going through those players tonight after that game, because it was defensive errors that really cost us that game. Zuma wasn't at the races today. I was really disappointed in Zuma today. Really disappointed in Ogbonna today. And you know, if you get a couple of performances like that from our central defenders, you can see why some players could be sneaking in there. But I just wonder if there's a little bit of fatigue coming from all the competitions that we're playing, and maybe we may need to use players on a more regular occasion as squad rotation. Because I tell you what, after that game, there's an opportunity now, especially with the international break, for players to come in. And that doesn't mean that players are getting dropped. It just means that players need a rest. But then maybe this international break has come at the right time for West Ham. Maybe it has come at the right time for West Ham. You know, I don't like international breaks, but you can see that little bit of fatigue in some of the players. And I know some of the players are going away to do international duty. But there's also a lot of players that definitely need that rest. Creswell, Ogbonna, and some of the other players in the team. But, you know, they've gone 1-0 up 20 minutes into the game. That was Mbeumo's second league goal of the season. And I tell you what, I was really impressed with him, actually. I thought he was a great player. He was good at penetrating all the West Ham defenders. He was getting forward. And there was a lot of hard work rate from Brentford. Moyes would be impressed. Thomas Frank's doing a great job at Brentford. But Moyes would be impressed with the work rate that what Brentford offer. You know, there was an injury, though. I think one player for Brentford, another player I was impressed with for Brentford, was Baptiste in the middle of the park. Felt like he was dictating play quite a lot. I think he was the one that actually put Konas in for Brentford before he had the shot that was parried away from Fabianski. But Baptiste actually picked up an injury in the 26th minute. I think he went in on a tackle on Antonio, and he kind of fell over himself and landed full weight on his body and picked up an injury. And at that point, you know, when he came off and they brought Jensen on, I genuinely thought, you don't want a player to get injured, but this was the opportunity West Ham could take, because I felt like Baptiste was actually dictating the play in the middle of the park. And he was, because West Ham were actually struggling. And we could not get in control of the game in the middle of the park. The area that we control the most and can win the battles in with Rice and Souček, we were struggling with. You know, a couple of times Rice lost the ball, but then he had the work rate to go back and win the ball back. A couple of times Souček lost the ball, but he didn't win the ball back. I'm not digging Souček out here. I'm not digging him out. I'm just saying maybe there's a time and a place when you need to rest a player, especially with Souček, who's trying to adjust to his new role where he sits a little bit further back and allows Rice to move forward. And I just wonder if maybe they need to kind of reverse roles sometimes and allow Souček to get further forward, because maybe that's having an impact on his style of play. I don't know. Get your comments in and we will go into them. Actually, I'll jump into some of the comments just now before we move further into the game. Where are we? Bernie, I think I said that. I had a feeling this was going to happen, as it's been coming for a few games as we have been leaking goals. Rob's projector wall, WTF, bad day all round in my opinion. Duzzy O'Dear saying Souček ain't right. If he was a horse, he'd be in an inquiry. Norman David Tiddyman, it's time the defence was addressed now. Goalkeepers, we'll talk about that definitely in a minute. Bowen was class for me from Long Dark Tunnel. Crosshammer, I'm hoping Zuma is just having a bad start. He needs to step up big time. Norman David Tiddyman, goalkeeper change, Diop in for Ogbonna. I can see it. I can see it, because we're leaking goals every single game, Norman, and I'm starting to think that maybe Diop, Zuma, and potentially Areola could be the three triangle French-speaking defenders that we may need to have a look at. But, you know, we'll talk about that in a minute. Afternoon, ladies. Good to see you, Luke. Thank you for joining us. Duzzy O'Dear. Sufal looked like he'd been celebrating his new contract with Dr. Vodka. West Ham random picture. I thought they played us off the pitch. They played really well. They were a good footballing team. Look, Legend, we are so bad in front of goal. That is what's costing us as much as the defence. And you're right, mate. We did have a lot of we did have a lot of chances, and you're completely right. Actually, look, you really are. Long dark tunnel. Sufal doesn't look settled with Zuma. Does he? Oh dear. Ariola has to be given his first choice for a bit. Fabi's just batting saves back out to attackers. He is. It's a couple of those chances are tough, and I think a lot of goalkeepers would have parried them out. But there's been too many parried out shots now that have landed in front of a opposition player that's allowed them to score. Ronaldo and Buemo today can be just a couple of examples, and even the second goal today. I mean, it was a good save, but yeah, Moyes' stubbornness really pisses me off. No substitutions, especially when they've got near £30 million player and Vlasic sitting on the bench. Bernie Brandham, now's the time to refocus and start to get back to what we was doing, but we needed times to mix it up. We needed times to make changes and not hang on hope. I am sick after that match, Lawrence. I feel exactly the same, mate. I'm so deflated, and for years we've been so used to West Ham, not doing so well, and now when we are doing so well, I'm taking defeats really hard, actually, really, really hard. Rob's first 10 minutes should have woken us up and to see what was coming. Absolutely. Crosshammer, we need to put some trust in the younger ones for the cup games. Apart from Europe, we need fresh legs for the Premier League. You make a valid point, mate. Absolutely. Happy Hammer 82, no striker to come on and change the game, in my opinion. Norman is saying, reality check today, we have dodgy defence and a poor backup attack. In fact, no backup attack. I think you're making a valid point again about the defence. James Bong saying a disappointing result, but c'est la vie, onwards and upwards. Richard Walton, a game Lanzini would have won for us. We were talking about the substitutions, and at one point I was like, we don't make a substitution, but the only one I possibly could have seen that maybe would have changed today's game would have potentially been Lanzini. So I do agree with you, Richard. I know we don't agree all the time, but that's just the nature of what we do. Bernie saying, if what we are doing is not working, then you do need to change things. Just hoping things will change is not an option. Happy Hammer, Moyes, Rice is constantly pulling up with cramps, so your job and make some subs. Peach is saying after Johnson's display against Vienna, he didn't get the nod, Anton. Yeah, I know, and I think he deserved it. I'm being brutally honest. I think Johnson should have started today. I said it in the previous show that we did. But that's not because I just think that Sufal needed the rest. I think he needed the rest, and I think today was a proven example of why he did need the rest. Norman, you're saying Johnson is average. I don't know. I like him. Trev Chuba saying Tony is quality. His first touch through balls are very dangerous. He's more than just strong fast forward. And yeah, we still need a striker in that mould. Antonio will need a rest at some point. Cross Hammer saying you're right, Happy Hammer. I've been saying for ages Rice needs a rest before fatigue sets in. Norman is saying international break isn't good because all Czech boys will play, so will Rice as well as Antonio too. I get that, but we do need some of this team to rest. Some of the team, Dawson's, like it just needs to be a rest. I know they're going to play, but I'd rather some of the squad rest than all of the squad play. Bernie's saying, Anton, we seem to fear making changes. If it's not working, you need to change style of play. We are not doing that. Hanging on is not a tactic. I think after the goal that Bowen scored would have been probably the best time for West Ham to make the substitutions, but we just didn't do it. Let me go back into the game. We'll come back into the comments in a minute. Again, though, listen, they've gone 1-0 up, 35 minutes into the game. Again, Brentford were coming at West Ham. I mean, the game half-time, it was absolutely all Brentford. There was absolutely nothing West Ham could do to absolutely nullify the threat from Brentford in the first half. And hats off and take the credit where credit's due. They absolutely deserved to go 1-0 up in at half-time. And we were talking on the show here and we were saying, what are you going to say? What are you going to do? What's Moyes going to do? Moyes will be having a go at the defence. There's no ifs or buts about it. He's like, what are you doing? There was 2 occasions there that you lost that ball. You know, in actual fact, there was lots more occasions, but for the goal, 2 big errors. Zuma, you lost your man. Augie, you didn't follow your man. You're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. You're putting the pressure on. And it's a shame because can we really blame Fabianski for it? Fabianski, should you have held on to the ball for one of the shots and it's parried out? But then, you know, if you've got the strong defence in front of you, Augie should have got in there and cleared the ball away. So, yeah, it's not impressive. Not impressive at all. So the second half goes on and West Ham come out a different team. We go immediately on the attack and we are, you know, we look a little bit different. We look like we're getting a hold of the game. We're getting a hold of the ball. And I think it's within like the first 10 minutes, we have something like 7 attempts at goal. Really, really, really good attempts at goal as well. Unfortunately, we just couldn't get the ball into the back of the net. Benrahma takes on a strike and it catches it pretty well, but Rhea has to actually tip it over the bar with a fingertip save from Benny. West Ham get another corner. It fizzes it in and it just goes wide. Antonio escapes in behind but can't get his shot away. He instead clips the ball towards Soufal at the back post and he tries a half volley from the angle, but it's wide of the post. Then another save from Rhea. Bowen this time finds space in behind and managed to squeeze a shot on goal from the angle, but Rhea blocks it in from behind. West Ham are now getting corners. We're attacking. We're going forward. We're putting the pressure on Brentford. Brentford have no way now of getting hold of this game or hold of the ball. And this is where West Ham needed to take advantage of this, and we didn't. It was just really, really unfortunate at this time because we've got into the 60th minute and it's chance after chance after chance for West Ham, and we've not taken advantage of that chance. Absolutely not. But Soufal, he battles past Pinnock down the right-hand side, clips the ball in for Bowen. He wins the header, but flicks it wide of the post. More intensity from West Ham in this half. Exactly, it was. Another save from Raya as well on the back of Antonio, who spins Janssen down on the right-hand side and sends a ball in for Fornals. His effort was blocked, but it dropped to Soufal again, who tests Raya from the angle, and he blocks it wide. Brentford have every single player you possibly can imagine in their own half defending for their lives against West Ham, but West Ham were not taking advantage of it, and we were starting to sit there and think, okay, is this going to be one of these days? Because we cannot finish this game off because there was opportunities there to finish the game off and we could not do it. And I don't know how many chances at this point it was having here. Benrahma starting to get in on the ball a little bit more, skip past Norgard in the midfield, and he tugs his shirt and it pulls down. It's a clear book and he gets a yellow card, and West Ham step up for a free kick within 30 yards out. Brentford then start to kind of pick up the ball and start to kind of nullify the threat from West Ham. We're coming into the 70th minute. The 70th minute was pivotal because in the Leeds game, that's when we turned it round, and we were thinking, I wonder if this is going to be the time scale that's going to take for West Ham to try and turn the game around against Brentford. But it didn't. It came and it went, and we started trying to go at Brentford again, but they started to nullify our threat. And I'm not saying the threat that they were creating was any better, but they were nullifying what we were doing. And fair play to one player, I want to big him up again, is Ivan Toney. He absolutely helped his whole team out. He his work rate through this game today was very, very high level. He is a player that after today's performance and from what I've saw so far in the Premier League, I can see why Premier League clubs are interested in him. But in particular, I can see why West Ham would be interested in him because he's got the full range of work rate that you want, that Moyes wants in a player. But do you know what? It took us to the 80th minute to get a breakthrough. Thank you to that man, Jared Bowen. And it was a great goal from Jared Bowen himself. The ball, Creswell swings in the corner, Rice gets a flick on, and when the loose ball drops kindly, Bowen hits it on the half volley with pure and utter venom, like a bullet shot, and it goes into the bottom right-hand corner, making it 1-1 with 10 minutes to go. And you're thinking to yourself, we could snatch this again. We could snatch this victory away from the hands of Brentford. And we've not had the best of the performances here, and we're all out attack at this moment in time. But the game was up for grabs for both teams. And, West Ham kept going at them. At this point, for me personally, I would have looked at making a substitute, but we didn't. But I'm not, I mean, who am I? I'm Anton, who's part of the West Ham network, who sits here and gives you commentary. But from an outsider's point of view, you think to yourself, you're on the up, you need some fresh legs. A couple of players on the park there could make a difference. I just wonder if that would have done the job. And we're moving forward and we're attacking, and we were having opportunities, but we just couldn't put them in the back of the net. And what's his name? Rice pulled up. He got a bit of cramp. The players were around him. The referee puts up the board, and he goes 3 minutes of added time. 3 minutes of added time for the substitutes. But Rice unfortunately picked up a bit of cramp, had to go off the park, but wanted to come back on the park, which he did. Brentford made a substitution. It was Wissa, the boy who got the equalising goal for Brentford last week against Liverpool. And what does he go and do? He comes in and wins it for Brentford in the last minute. Fabianski could only parry Jansen's header from the ball into Wisa. Literally, I think he was about 16, 15, 14 yards out from goal. And his textbook technique on the half volley to power the ball into the back of the net with the last kick of the game to make it 2-1 to Brentford. So disappointed and defeating. I don't know what else to say. I'm going to jump into the comments. I'm just going to take a look at some of the pictures here. So there's some pictures there. There's Wisa who goes and gets the goal in the end. And yeah, just heavily disappointed. I think you can tell from looking at me how disappointed I am from that. But I'm just going to try and see if I can get the stats for all of yous for the game, which I think I have got here. The end stats. I mean, for a neutral watching this game, it was fantastic. West Ham had 60% possession to Brentford's 30 to 40% of their possession. West Ham had 18 chances at goal. Brentford had 13. West Ham had 5 shots on target. Brentford had 6 shots on target. West Ham had 6 shots off target to Brentford's 3 shots off target. So yeah, it was absolutely a really disappointing match, to be brutally honest. But let me jump into the comments again and see what you are all saying. Mark Thomas, I'm not surprised one iota about this result. Players looked tired last week, gutting to lose like that, but we just had to move on, and it's not all that bad. The women's team beat Man City. Crosshammer Moyes, like, I know you're only joking, mate. In him we trust, absolutely. Bernie, I would have gone to 3 in the middle field with Rice and Krul with Thomas. The funny thing was, there was actually one substitute I was really keen on West Ham doing, even with like 20 minutes to go, because a couple of times I noticed that Souček lost the ball in the middle of the park, and he didn't have the energy or the work rate to go and get that ball back. Now, Souček is an absolutely wonderful footballer for West Ham, But there's a time and a place when you think a player needs to be rested, and I do think it is right now. I think Souček needs that rest to be able to come back and get his engine back up and running. And I think I would have actually considered swapping Krul at that point for Souček, because I think that some of the errors that Souček was making was leading to Brentford's opportunities in the second half in particular, and that's what their goal came from, was an opportunity. And it was the kind of build-up play from beforehand that maybe could have nullified that threat moving forward. Rob's projector wall, I saw a team come out in the second half that was up for the fight, so we march on with our heads held high, in my opinion. You're right, mate. You're right. We did come out and we were up for the fight, and you did look like we were never going to give up. There is buts, though, and it's not negative buts. There just is buts. The buts are there are players that definitely look like they need a rest. Simple, in my opinion. And we do concede goals. No matter what anyone thinks of it, we do concede goals. And Moyes has said and wants to, he needs to change that. He needs to change that. We're not scoring the goals we should because we're creating so many chances. 18 shots with 5 on target. 18 shots with 5 on target. And I can't really massively blame Antonio today because I don't know if he got massive amount of service. But what we did see was Fornals get forward, Bowen get forward, and none of them could put the ball in the back of the net except for Bowen, obviously, with the good goal that he did and scored WH58. Saying, I think Moyes needs to employ me as an advisor on the subs. He says, I'm not going to blame or point fingers at our players. We need Moyes to rotate players more often. I think there is a rotation game here, needs to be played. I think that the Premier League, absolutely, we absolutely need that rotation with it as well. Yeah.
I can't hear you, mate.
That's fine. You just go for it. You talk. Let me know your thoughts.
Okay. Second half was a hell of a lot better than the first. We bossed the game. We deserved to get something out of it. The first half, I think I already said in the match day live, the first half was a little bit lame. We let them bully us a little bit. They were winning all the second balls, etc. But we came out flying in the second half, and we really took it to them. But I'll tell you what isn't very nice. With the greatest of respect to Brentford, they won the game, but they won it in a championship way. time wasting, niggly little fouls, pullbacks, and the referee took a hell of a long time to actually start, booking them for the things that they were doing. And it was, oh shit. Thank you. Thank you. Hang on a minute.
Still there.
Cheers, mate.
Don't know what's happening there with Stelios. Don't know what he's doing. He's falling down the stairs. Hopefully he's not.
The wind blew everything down. So
still, I want to talk to you though about, there was one player that did impress me from Brentford today, and it's a player that we know really well because we've been linked to him, and I think many other clubs have been linked to him. Ivan Toney. He done everything that Moyes would want from a striker today, except for get in the box and be a striker. What did you think of Ivan Toney?
He was all right. I wasn't honestly that impressed. I didn't see anything that would suggest to me that I get it. I get what you're saying about how he might be the sort of striker that David Moyes might be interested in. And maybe David Moyes could do something with a player like Toney. But there was nothing I saw that made me go, I'm shit scared of a player like Toney. He was all right.
Talk to me still. Another thing we were talking about in the review, and we were talking about during the match day live. Defensively, we are conceding goals. We're still leaking goals. It wasn't the best of performances from our defence today. It wasn't the best performances from our goalkeeper.
I don't want to say what I'm thinking about the first goal.
Go on.
Do you want me to say what I'm thinking about the first goal?
Say it.
Well, people will say Fabianski made a great save. I would say Fabianski made a save that put the ball back into the area. Now, great saves meant it would have gone outside of the box. But it's happened now against Leeds, and it's happened now against Brentford,
and Manchester United.
Sorry, Man United. Sorry, not Leeds. Man United, where he did make a decent save, but the ball went back into the box for them to pick up. And unfortunately, when that happens, that gives the opposition another chance, and that's what seemed to happen today. For the first goal.
Can I ask? And this is what I want to ask. I know they showed the highlight of the goal. I don't know if they do that for the away goal. Did you get?
No,
to
they
see
didn't
the
show it.
replay
They didn't show it.
So
they didn't show the highlight.
Just to give you a bit of a kind of brief rundown on the first goal, Zuma completely lost his man, and it was a great ball through. And it was great. No, but wait, it doesn't end there. He completely loses his man, and the ball gets put through. A great ball from Baptiste, the midfielder. And I think it was Kosas who gets the ball and shoots, and Fabianski saves and it parries away. The second biggest issue was Ogbonna stopped tracking Mbeumo, and Mbeumo gets to the ball, and then he shoots. And so we've got three players there that have made errors. So it was inevitable someone was going to score.
We weren't at our best today defensively in the first half. I don't know what the hell's going on, because some people are going to suggest that this was the aftermath of playing in Europe, but Ogbonna and Zuma didn't play in Europe, and neither did Fabianski. So I don't know what's going on there. They didn't look too composed today in the first half, but I put that down to Brentford. They put an awful lot of pressure on us, and they just stopped. In the Premier League, when you make a mistake or you stop tracking your player, you suffer from it, and I get that. I get what you're saying about Zuma and Ogbonna, probably both at fault. But then when you want your keeper to come up trumps, the ball went back into the box. Now, look, what we were saying earlier is Fabianski. We don't want Fabianski to end up being the fall guy for this season, and I think, with the greatest of respect to him, I think it's time we see what Areola's like in the Premier League. Well, we already have, but in a West Ham shirt. So, but it was disappointing. It was disappointing.
I want to bring your attention again then to Tommy Souček. Not a great day at the office for Tommy Souček. It was more Declan Rice today. Is it time to give Souček a rest because he's trying to adjust to his new role as not going further forward?
What is this new role? There is no new role. He's a central midfielder, and he's playing the same sort of game as everyone's been like he was playing last season. And last season they were all both him and Declan were taking turns to go up while the other one dropped back. So I don't understand this new role. There is no new role. Souček just doesn't look on the player that we had last season, unfortunately. But that's because of the expectation. Our expectation now is so high of players like him that when they sort of fall behind on the level that they've been performing, we start talking about giving him rest and stuff like that. I'd rather, maybe, if there is a difference, then let Declan sit and let Souček do what he does. Because we still haven't scored a goal from a set piece yet. So,
There's big calls in the chat from the Matchday Live and the review. Big calls in the chat saying that they want to see the French trio in the back line. They want to see Zuma, Diop, and Areola make a change. That's what people in the chat are wanting to say. What do you think? What do you say to that? Still,
why not? Diop has been decent. Dawson was decent on Thursday night. Look, Moyes wants players to compete, and he even said himself he's got a squad of 22 players that are competing for first team football. And there's no reason why you can't rely on Diop, Zuma. Ogbonna, played all right. Second half, in the second half, Brentford did nothing apart from get that free kick right at the death, and we all went, here we go, 2-1 at the death, And but in the first half, they didn't, Ogbonna, Zuma didn't really look that composed. But that was more down to Brentford pushing. They really hassled us and harried us in the first half. And they put us slightly off our game. But we got the better of it in the second half. And there was nothing wrong with Ogbonna and Zuma in the second half, to be honest with you.
We're not used to this getting beat malarkey, are we, these days? And
we're not.
It's really like we take it really hard. We really take a defeat really hard. Like, I'm deflated as fuck still.
We are, and I don't want to be... We are taking it hard, and I don't want to be doom and gloom because it's a long season. We're not going to win every bloody game, are we? But I think it's got... Look, we were talking outside to a couple of people before I came on, and we said, Brentford, credit where credit's due. They won the game, but it was championship football, championship tactics, championship style. They were pulling, niggly fouls. The referee took a fucking long time to decide to book any of them, and they were going down and rolling around, and sort of like getting free kicks where they shouldn't have got. I'd like to see the replay of the free kick that they got for their second goal. Yeah, I wonder if that was an actual free kick.
No,
I bet it wasn't a free kick.
So what happens is the player's going through and Zuma is turning, and as he's turning, he's falling, and the Brentford player falls over with him. So he's not held him. I thought initially he had.
And they got a free kick for it.
And the referee's blown the whistle because on initial reaction, I thought it was a foul, but when you look back, it's absolutely not, in my opinion. So that's just the kind of way
the ref. I'm not because we lost, but the referee was poor today. The referee was really, really poor. They were play acting. The goalie was warned 2 or 3 times about his time wasting and was allowed to get away with it the whole game. As soon as they were touched, they went down. They rolled around. They were holding their heads. They'll get fouled or not even fouled, and they go down holding their heads, knowing that would waste time because a head injury allows all that sort of allows you more time to sort of get the coaches on or the trainers on or whatever. It was frustrating to see it happen, but you know what? Credit to them. They got away with it and they won the fucking game, And should they have won it? No, I think it was fair. It would have been a fair result if it was 1-1. We came back in the second half and we really went for it. And I think we played really well in the second half. Everything that we didn't do in the first half, we did in the second half. And but as soon as they got that free kick, last kick of the ball, you know exactly what was going on, and they nicked it. I suggested a few weeks ago that we nicked it against Leeds. Brentford nicked it today.
We've played the whole game today still without making a single substitution. Was there anything in that, or should we be okay with what went on today?
Just before Bowen scored, Vlasic was ready to come on. I don't know who would have come on for, but Vlasic was ready to come on just before Bowen scored. What a cracking goal. Right foot. Did you see the gap he had to score that?
Yeah.
Brilliant goal.
It's a proper half volley with venom into the bottom right-hand corner. Great goal from Bowen.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still, listen, let's not deny it. We had great opportunities. I mean, there was a glancing header opportunity. I think Antonio and Souček both could not get on the end. But if you look back at the replay still, Antonio misses it by that, and Souček misses it literally by that. And but it's Anton, like, oh my God. I know.
But Anton, in the first half, in the first 15 minutes, they glanced the bar. They had about 4 chances. You know, in the first 20 minutes, they had 4 corners to our 1. You know, they were taking it to us in the first half. They were really, really taking it to us. And they could have been 3-0 up by half time. You know, so I get
was
you.
A game. It was a game of 2 halves, though. Like you said, in the first half they could have been 3-0 up, and in the second half we could have drew the game 3 each with them. But unfortunately, it was just a snatch and grab. You know, they came in at the end there and walked away with a goal from a lucky free kick that was given to them, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
It's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. But no problem. We're still in all the cup competitions. We've got Spurs coming here, Genk and then Spurs. We'll go back to winning ways. You know, everyone's really flat here today, and not surprising, because it was one of those games where it was like it wasn't actually that pleasant to watch. You know, when we went to Southampton a few weeks ago and said that was boring, this was like it was watching Championship football from Brentford. But again, credit to them, they got a result. You know.
Yep, they certainly did. They walked away with the 3 points, and West Ham go into the international break now. You know, needing the break. Unfortunately, we've got about 1 million players.
Breaks.
We've got about 1 million players playing in games over the international break.
Who was it that suggested? Was it Arsene Wenger that suggested that should play all international games in 1 month? Do it, because this 2 weeks off. I'm glad I'm going away. You know, for a change. At least I'm going on holiday whilst the international break's on. I don't know what I do with myself without any football.
How's the supporters club today still?
Oh, it's livened up. People have had a drink or two, and we've forgotten that we've lost. There you go. But it was like the first 20 minutes or so in here. I think it felt like we were going to a funeral. No one wanted to talk. No one wanted to say anything. Like, you look at everyone's faces and they were like looking really glum. But now I've had my first double rum. I mean, that's poor for me. The game finished an hour ago and I've only had 1 double rum. But
that's the way the cookie crumbles. Still, it's the way the cookie crumbles.
But shall I show you? Shall I show you the? Let's show you around. Let's show you. Hang on a minute.
Show us around.
Let's see if I know how to use my. Hang on a minute.
Still, ask a couple of people a couple of questions. Put the microphone up to their mouth and see what they say. I'll let you do it. I'll let you roam.
I haven't got the mic.
Don't need the mic. So just use your earphones.
Right. Do you want to tell us about the game? No? I am. Do you want to talk about the game?
No, not yet, mate. No, come on.
This is Paul Christmas from the Supporters Club. How are you, Paul? Why don't you do a little promotion while you're here?
I could do, couldn't I?
Unfortunately, I didn't. The mic is in the back, so...
Where are we?
There you go.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
So this is
Hi, Paul. Just let us know your thoughts on the game, Paul, please, if you don't mind.
Total game of 2 hours, wasn't it? I mean, they were very good first half. I thought that it should have been 2 or 3 to them, perhaps 1 to us. They were very strong, very direct. Second half, it was all us, and we got the goal that we deserved. Unfortunately, Mr. Antonio didn't quite get his header on the target, which would have then sealed it for us. And then it was anyone's game, and unfortunately, they got the winner. But credit to them first half, but second half, I thought, cheers, pal. Terrible with the time wasting, and I wasn't happy. The referee was, I don't think the referee was onto the game. These referees have a lot of power these days, I believe. I've been a referee myself. And the bottom line is he should have taken much more control of the game. And he didn't. But that's only for football, you know what I mean, to make the game better, because they time wasted a lot. So unfortunately, we lost that one, but we'll pick up and go from there.
Yeah, it's time to roll up our sleeves and move on. Paul, do you want to give any promotion for the Supporters Club, if you don't mind?
Oh, mate, the Supporters Club, we've been going since 1947. We didn't quite get over here as soon as we are very old, now we're doing very well. Everyone's more than welcome here. It really is a family environment. We want as many people to come here as possible. We want to keep things going. We've got lots of plans ahead for the club to go forward and just do the best we possibly can. Keep the club going and build on what we've got. And with the West Ham network and the boys here, you're helping us fine, and I think we're heading in the right direction at the moment.
Brilliant, excellent. Thank you very much, Paul, for that, and really good analysis of the game. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Quite all right. Thank you. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, Paul. Right. So, who would like to come on? Reese.
Go on.
Put that in your ear.
I'm here.
I can't be bothered to lift
There
the
he is.
microphone up. This is Reese.
All right,
Hello,
Reese
guys.
boy.
How's it going?
How you doing?
How's it going,
Come on, give
Anton?
us your opinion
Yeah.
then. What was your thoughts on the game?
Well, we shouldn't have lost that game, but we shouldn't have won it either. It should have been a draw. But it's just unlucky. We needed to lose last week, so they're all saying it's karma. But yeah, we just shouldn't. I don't think we should have lost, but I don't think we should have won.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a disappointing result though in the end, wasn't it? I mean,
it was.
We're not used to saying this to Stell. We're not used to losing these days, and then bang,
Right.
we lose this game 2-1, and it just doesn't feel good. But credit to Moyes for creating this team and this squad. But there are players that need to be maybe rested. I mean, is there any players that you think need to be rested?
I'd say Souček. He didn't play very well today, so I'm quite surprised we didn't bring on any substitutions. If I'm honest, I would have had Crowell come on at some point, but obviously Moyes didn't think so. So, I'm guessing it probably wasn't the best decision for the match.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And West Ham did have chances, but I was talking to Stell there before you came on, and I was saying a lot of people are calling for big changes in the back, big changes in and around Ogbonna, Zuma, Diop, Areola, Fabianski. What do you think about the defensive area?
Defensive area. Well, I think both of them played quite well today, but I would have brought in Areola over Fabianski because Stell's just distracting me. Sorry. I would have brought in Areola over Fabianski because every time Fabianski got the ball passed back to him, I was absolutely crapping it because I was like, it's going to mess up at some point, and I just don't want it to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Reese boy, thank you very much for joining us, mate.
That's all right, boss man. I'll speak to you later.
Cheers, Reese, mate. Take it easy.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Right. I'm not walking around because I can't be asked.
Right, Stell, is there anyone else, or is that you?
No, that's it.
Right, cool. All right, mate. Thanks for doing it. Oh,
there you go. There's the support there.
any young lads? Still, get the young boys on. Has any of the young boys wanted to say anything?
No, I've asked. Do you want to have a chat online? No? No, I don't think so.
Right, cool.
All right.
Right,
Look,
cheers, Stell. Have a good one.
I want to go and get another drink, so I'll see you later.
Right, go and enjoy, mate. Take it easy.
Mate.
Bye. Listen, that brings an end to our match day highlights show where we talk over the game, the result, the everyone's performance. Disappointing though. Good we got some access to the supporters club, which I think you all enjoyed. But please join us. We'll be doing the match ratings, player ratings that will be coming out this evening. So please keep an eye on the channel. We'll put that up and let you know, and we'll go through the game a little bit more in detail of every individual player's performance. So we will go through that. So join us later on. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you joining us today. Disappointing result, but you know what? We've got to dust it off and put our heads up and move forward, especially after the international break. Before I do go, I'll jump into the comments and just make sure that everyone is in here saying hi and talking to each other. I'm sorry, but a 36-year-old with hip issues shouldn't be first choice goalkeeper. Kev is saying they annoyed me wasting time from first half, but they attacked in numbers and got back in numbers. They did whatever it took to win. I'm angry, but kind of deserved it instead. I'll admit it. English Yardie, it's a long season, boys and gals. Going into this match, I knew it'd be tough. Rico Henry knew it was going to be a problem for him. For Sufal, Rico has pace. We had our chances to score. Morel, folks, let's try and stay positive. The fact that we're so deflated after losing shows how much expectations have risen. Brad, best shot stopper in the top 5 leagues, on the bench. Irons 97, I'm sorry, but 36, we've already gone through that one, sorry. Brad, I'll say it again, 1 win in 5. Reese, it's making me laugh. Still's got a device to have his headphones and power bank in. Irons 97, it's time for a bit around the nipple. Get a chance and goal. How did the GSB meeting go? I have no idea, mate. talking about washing your hands. I think Areola should start the next game against Everton. Pub, grub, and a pint next. Absolutely, mate. Iron 97. We need a bit around. Is this repeating the comments? It's really weird. Crosshammer, Areola, Diop, and Dawson in for Everton till Augie and Zuma wake up. I think going forward, my concern is our defence. We're conceding too many goals. I'd like to see Areola and Zuma and Diop in defensive after the international break. And I think that's where I'm at, if I'm being brutally honest with you. I do think that needs to change. And I think we need to bring in Diop into the team. I know, big fan of Souček, but he failed on the free kick with the winner. The reason we lost that game is once again Moyes' aversion to subs. Yes, I know that he would not be here without Moyes, but this is the Achilles heel. Please like the video. Thank you, Crosshammer. Make us bigger. Absolutely. Thank you very much again. And Long Dark Tunnel, we should be making changes around the 60th minute like every other club. So I'm going to leave that with all yous there. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you stay safe. And listen, international break now. We'll have loads of content coming out for you. We'll do something later on with regard to the player ratings. But just stick with us. Stick with West Ham because we'll bounce back. Trust in Moyes. All that malarkey. But disappointing result today. Anyway, thanks for watching. Anton, come on, you Irons. Stay safe.